Hello and welcome to another episode of The Binge Thinker. My name is Jamil Raymond. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Yes, you, sir and or madame and or other, as always. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back in Melbourne and I fucking hate it. Man, got back Wednesday morning and honestly I'm recording this Monday, just recovered from jet lag, not even really fully recovered from the jet lag, have had worse digestive issues coming back to Australia than I did when I was in Mexico. It's been a rough welcome back to Melbourne with just feeling like crap. The air here is so dry compared to Mexico. Like all of my sunburn, or I did get a little bit sunburned, but all of my skin is flaking off. My eczema is flaring up. It's cold. It's fucking dark. Oh man, I need to get the fuck out of here ASAP, man. Like, it's good to have, it's good to be back home. Don't get me wrong. It's good to be in my own bed. I took my first consistently hot shower for the first time in over 2 weeks, because in Mexico, like, you can't trust any of the water. So, like, even taking a shower there when I was in Mexico City, it was like in my hostel, it was blisteringly hot. Like, they were just like, you know what? Let's just have one main line of boiling hot water and one main line of cold water and no real mixer in the middle. So I had when I was showering, probably about 3 minutes of ice cold water, which would then transition into, layers of skin peeling off heat, or maybe just the standard shower for most women, right? So then when I was in Tulum, I'd be in the water pretty much every day, which is nice, but that's not really a shower. And then even in the showers at the hotel, they added some natural salt water to add to, the natural beachy hair. And it's like, aren't you in the fucking salt water enough in the beach to then want to come home and have some clean water to shower yourself with? And again, the shower water wasn't very warm. Not that you needed warm water to really shower in Tulum, because it was quite a nice balmy evening, but just to have a nice consistent hot shower, and getting back to that, getting to sleep in my own bed has been so great. And that's pretty much it. The holiday is well and truly over. I am a flaky, itchy, lethargic, stomach irritable mess. And it's good to be back, baby. It's good to be back. Yeah. But I just wanted to catch you guys up. A couple of things I want to knock off today. I did want to follow on from last week's conversation around the Temazcal, the cleansing ceremony from last week. That was a fantastic ceremony. And then also catch you guys up on launch week. It is launch week, baby. By the time this comes out, likely by the time you put this in your ears, May 1st, Wednesday, May 1st, is the official launch of Tech Sales OS. I've got the documentary, the vlog is ready. My sales funnel ready. All of my content to launch ready. It has finally come to a crux. It has come to a head, and I am fucking... Here's the thing. I don't know if I'm excited or not, and we'll get back to that, right? We'll come back to that. But let's kick off the stuff around the Temazcal and the healing, because I think it's important to discuss. Just to follow on from last week, because it's been a very interesting thing to notice in my own self and in my own self-development. And, we're all about the traumas and the mental health here at The Binge Thinker. So I've definitely had a bit of a revelation, a little progress to talk about. Also, a little fun side note, I paid way too much for a can of Liquid Death. Because you see it on all the fucking podcasts and you're like, it's just water. But again, because, that's social proof. You see all your favorite podcasters, drinking it while they're on their pods and shit, and they're doing sponsorships of pods. I saw it in my IGA and I was like, fuck it, let me try it. So I've got one here, and I can confirm It's just water. But there you go. They have done an excellent job of marketing half a litre of water, 500 ml for $4.90 at my local IGA. And it is purely for the experience, right? It is what it is, man. Like, I've spent more on less. So good on Liquid Death for their very strategic marketing and placement to get into my head. Got to appreciate the art of a good deal. Actually, whilst speaking of the art of a good deal, there's a little content that I recorded whilst I was in Tulum. So during in the beaches of Tulum, where I was in the hotel zone is basically a bunch of very nice hotels that are situated on a beautiful, gorgeous beach along the coast of the Tulum. I guess it is the Tulum coast and the Gulf of the Caribbean. And so what would happen is very often you would get a lot of hawkers. So there'd be some locals, so a lot of local Mexicans and Tulumians, don't know what you want to call them. But they'd be spruiking wares to people on the beach. Like, hey, do you want you want some freshly cut coconut? Would you like some jewelry? Would you like... Some of them had some really difficult upsells. Like, there's a couple of locals that were trying to sell like masks, like Amazonian masks or Mayan masks, or like big chunky things that are just unfeasible to carry around or take back to your home country, right? Like, if you're like, they're selling big knickknacks, like a mask, like a full-size head mask, or some sort of like wood carving that's like the size, of like a large plate, or like the size of like a small pot plant, right? Like, it might look interesting and appealing, but there's so few people that are going to have the carry-on luggage, or you have to really fucking love a particular carving or some shit to bring it all the way back to, Australia or the US, or just carry that in your limited luggage capacity that you've got, because it's just so bulky. And that's just me, the inner marketer, going, I don't know if I really thought about the logistics of your offer here, buddy. Not that I can explain that to a struggling Mexican in Spanish that I don't speak. Again, there's the inner salesperson in me going, I don't know if you really thought this through. But, I mean, if they are still frequently selling it, they must be getting some success, right? Because there was a few of them around, and I think they would get the hint by now if they weren't selling stuff. You know what I mean? But this interesting tactic that I saw was by a bunch of white people. So these obviously like fashionistas and designers that live the spiritual lifestyle in Tulum, which I am, I shouldn't really be mocking, because I would mind being a part of that myself. But what they would do is some of them were fucking gorgeous, by the way. Ladies they must have made their own swimwear or clothing lines or whatnot. What they would do is these gorgeous women would come with like a homeless bindle, like those hobo bindles, and just, sacks full of their own clothes. And what they would do is they would walk down to each beachfront for each hotel, and they would model the clothing, some of their wares on themselves, and walk up and down and basically be, human coat hangers and human models for their wares, which I thought was a very clever idea, right? Is because these were gorgeous women. I mean, God bless the sunglasses, mate, because I was staring for, just the usual ogle, which is what it is. And then also just to be very curious about this sales tactic, to be so direct. It's like, hey, this is what it looks like. You too could look like this, if you were as hot as me, and just have, like when rich people wear like nice linens and it drapes well, and, it just flows in the wind. You look so artistic. I don't know if that's a word. I was trying to go artistic and, I don't know, put some flair on it, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the fact that they would model their own wares, up and down, parade themselves, that is some ballsy marketing, right? That's the hustle of someone that needs this to eat and survive. That you got to, really believe in your fucking product to just parade it down, up and down Tulum Beach every day, And then also, I mean, yeah, and then just be really practical about your marketing approach and be committed to just be carrying around a sack of your own clothes. And I guess that's what, door-to-door salespeople were like back in the day, because that's what they essentially are. They're just going from, beach door to beach door, hotel door to hotel door. But good on them, right? Good on them for that level of dedication to their craft. That's that level of direct response marketing and sales. I thought it was just fascinating and very effective. And I was like, good on them. Good on them. I mean, I sure as fuck couldn't do that selling my stuff. I'm going to be just walking around, hey, you guys want a fucking server? Just be carrying around this 90 kilo steel chassis of kit. You guys in the market for a couple of rack servers, a couple of blade servers? Anyone? Anyone keen? Hey, but good on them. But yeah, wanted to carry on the conversation from last week about the Temazcal ceremony, because I've certainly noticed as a result of the purification and the cleanse that happened during that, well, it's a ceremony that is intended to cleanse and be a sweat lodge and purify, that there was a certain trauma. There was a certain somatic trauma, and what I mean by that, a certain sensation in the heart that I was targeting when I was doing this cleansing ceremony, right? Is that I could sense that there is a particular area in my chest, literally directly over my heart. If I had to really isolate it, just literally to, the left, just to the left of my sternum, like literally where the heart is supposed to be, right? So I would often feel this pain, and it would be a source of a lot of anxiety for me. Literally where the muscle meets the bone. So, like sometimes you get, if you were to massage that point, literally directly to the left of your sternum, your breastbone, I would often feel somatic pain and anxiety come from that place for a while now. And I know that this was some sort of feminine wounding in the heart, because it would fire up every time that I would consider, if I was in a date, right? If I was connecting with someone, I would always feel it at night. Particularly if you're like, just pottering around, or sometimes you just scroll on a dating app, right? And, the dating apps are becoming increasingly toxic and shit, but again, it's such a convenient way to just sort of mentally masturbate this idea of connection with other people, because I can say that this wounding, I guess, to go deeper into it, is one of connection. And I don't know the source of this wound, but it's persisted for some time now. And I think it has certainly been it's been a source of wounding that has contributed to my daily marijuana habit, because I certainly, when I get the urge to smoke or the feeling to smoke, again, this sensation, this pain, this trauma would show up. And again, I'm being 100% with you guys, for better or for worse. It's like every time that I've been on a date or even connected with almost anyone feminine, there's always been an anxious sensation there, for better or for worse. So I knew that this was something that I had to address and have for a while. But just like quite simply, I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know how to address it. And, for the last few months, I've been so focused on building this course and building this business, is that you just have to, I've just had to accept a certain level of pain, right? And accept that certain elements of my life, most in particular my relationships, to others, not to myself necessarily, but to other even just like my friends and just connecting with people, I've had to really put that in the back burner for the last 6+ months, right? So, and then this pain, this anxiety, it's been there for years in some way or form. But I've really become present of it in the last, I don't know, 6 to 12 months, I'd say. As I've practiced and sort of expanded my practice of being more aware of where tension and trauma is held in my body, as I've understood this practice more and more. So even to a point where I had a few, I don't know, it was a few weeks or a couple of months ago, I was medicated and I was in the shower and I had this moment, so for once in a while, I'll get these visions, or I'll get these, for the lack of a better term, visions, right? Where you really sort of feel that energetic form of self. And, I've had what I've called glimpses into, I guess you would call it other dimensions. I guess it's what people who on DMT would say, or when you're really deep into an LSD trip or something like that, where you see like an alternate dimension. I've had glimpses of that. I haven't done DMT myself. I would like to do it at some point. It's on the to-do list, but I want to do it properly. Same with ayahuasca. But yeah, during these visionary moments, I felt, or I visualized the pain that was in my chest. And basically what it looked like in this vision is basically this otherworldly sort of chasm / weird tunnel. And the only way I can describe it, and this is a very particular thing, you might have to Google this, and I might have to just refresh your Google myself, but if you've ever seen the inside of a squid, right, a squid's mouth, let me see if I can Google that real quick, but a squid's mouth, like it's this weird tunnel. Yeah, you might have to Google that, but it's like this weird tunnel thing, or maybe it's an octopus's mouth. But essentially, it's just like this weird open wound with teeth in it, right? And because it's such a I wouldn't say festering. I guess the only thing I could say is like it's such a open, damaged wound that it's like this permanent hole, like an abscess. That's visualization inside the chest, right? So it's not pretty. And it seems like it's gaping, and it seems like it's quite infected, right? Because it is this big established wound. It's not like a cut that will eventually heal over. It's like it felt like a permanent hole inside the chest. And it wasn't a great feeling, right? Is to feel into this level of, trauma or energetic damage that I've got inside myself. And I've really carried that imagery in my head for some time now, as you can tell. But I knew that in that revelation, that sort of vision, that is something that I had to address if I wanted to move forward with connection, with relationship, which has been a common theme for me, right? Is that one of my deeper wounds that I'm still trying to work through now is that connection and safety to other. I've talked to you guys before. Love to me has felt dangerous. My mother was unfortunately not the most emotionally stable nor a reliable source of nurturing early in my life. A bit of a klutz, not necessarily always there for me. So that aversion to trust, that fear of vulnerability, because I have not felt emotionally safe for a very long time, particularly with women, is one of the core wounds that I need to work on and sort of heal that within myself. And I've been aware of that for some time, but again, it's just like I didn't have the space to work on that because I was so focused on the masculine, on getting this course done, building this out, I'm burning through my own money. I'm in survival mode at the moment. But knowing that I had this, I mean, okay, here's a good another thing to expand on this is like, how does this trauma affect me? Of course, there is that aversion to other connections of other. There is an anxiety that I get, again, with speaking to women. Not all the time, but once I sense an opportunity or there is some yearning for connection that I sense in other, it pops up. Right? So it's not in every single feminine conversation. I can talk to a woman on the street and be fine with it. It's just when I sense, I don't know, any alignment of connection, right? Relationship, sexual tension, that sort of stuff, any sort of relational stuff, that's when it starts to rear its head. And this anxiety, it really rears its head when I travel. There is certainly this, I've always, this is a bit embarrassing to say, but I've always liked the idea of, a holiday fling and connecting with people, just having, a hot one night stand with someone or just connecting with someone on that level and having that, just a great fling. Hasn't really happened. It's happened once in the last 2 years, which is not bad necessarily, but it gets all consuming, right? It becomes an obsession. And I suspect now, whilst reflecting on it with some stillness, is that again, I think it's just this insecurity that you get when you are out in the world on your own, right? You don't have this level of security that you have by being in your own country and being stable and all that sort of stuff. But this anxiety and this yearning to connect with other, it becomes so consuming that, like, it's there were days during the trip where, I should be feeling great, where I'm having a great time. Again, I'm in Tulum. I'm having it's beautiful, and I'm having a good time relaxing and doing some new things, and I'm celebrating and reflecting the fact of, man, how much fucking work have you done and how much have you achieved in the last 12 months? Like, fucking appreciate it, man. But then all of it just goes away in this bleak sadness of just being alone and, feeling lonely. And, loneliness definitely is one of my ongoing wounds and challenges as well, is that I was quite a lonely child growing up because I grew up as an only child for the first 12 years of my life and didn't really have a lot of close friends. My parents were always working. I didn't really have a lot of family that I could spend time with in my age, sometimes on weekends and stuff like that. But yeah, being alone, and I think, a sense of loneliness is something that's always been a core wound. And there's always been that yearning for connection. And I don't think my yearning is any different from anyone else's, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just a matter of, it's certainly a repeating pattern in my life. So this anxiety, it becomes all consuming after a while, particularly when I'm overseas. And so then I have this fucking, duality, this push-pull that is extremely frustrating, where I have this yearn for connection and desire to connect with other people, and then this anxiety of actually meeting people and wanting to speak to them and having my desires felt and, going through the process of picking up or whatever it is, which I'm fucking terrible at because I've never really had to do it. that much. I've got very little practice of it, and I wouldn't say I'm uncomfortable, but very little exposure to it at 33, because I was in a committed relationship for 10 years. And then I've been pretty seriously working on myself for the last 4, right? So I haven't really made too much space for that in my life. So then, yeah, I just get myself into this tiz. Like it's like putting on it's like accelerating with the handbrake on at the same time of like, go, stop. Oh, I want to connect, but I don't want to speak, or I just get awkward, or yeah, man, it's a fucking head fuck of this yes, no. And yeah, it really takes away from presence. It takes away from stillness, takes away from just enjoying everything else that's going for me in that moment, right? Like, fuck, look at what I've done to get to this point, man. Yeah, so the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is what I was targeting in the Temazcal, in this cleansing, is that I know that a lot of my wounds now sit in the feminine side of me. And if I want to attract a partner, start going on the journey of, connecting deeply, having a relationship, creating a container for that, eventually raising a family, which I should be thinking about now because I am 33, all right? I don't feel 33. I don't feel old, or I don't feel like I should be having these responsibilities personally, but I do feel like I want a family, and eventually, right? I do want a strong family unit, and I think the opportunities, at 33, I should be seriously considering it now, at the very least, or, putting myself in that pool, because, it's getting tough to find the right person out there, right? It's everything that I read now is just like dating is getting worse, connection is getting worse. And, yeah, like if I want to have the solid relationship and relational base to create a strong family unit, I need to be investing a couple of good years into a solid relationship with my partner before I introduce kids and the stress of, parenting into that. So I really got to start thinking about this now. And look, it's very early days to be considering this. I don't want to be jumping in and trying to look for the one straight away, because that's not how it works. But it feels like this is one of the last frontiers, and one of the biggest frontiers that I would need to face in my own personal development is a relationship, and formulating a strong relationship to build a strong family, which is the next chapter or 2 away. So when I went to the Temazcal, this is what I was targeting, and the intention that I had, as part of this cleanse, as part of this, part of this ceremony. The whole trip was meant to be a transition, a cleansing, a purification into this new life. So the intention was, heal this. I want to target this. I want to feel this out. I want to process it. And in the process of doing it in the Temazcal, in the chanting, in the heat, and the intention, because what you do is again, to remind you guys, the Temazcal, it's a representation of the mother's womb. It's a stone and concrete igloo, which is turned into basically a sweat lodge with, high temperature sauna with various herbs mixed into the water to be a purification. And the high heat is meant to be a representation of the mother's love, right? It's how much, instead of suffering through and resisting the heat, how much can you surrender and accept the heat as love, as a cleansing and a purification? And that's what I had to do, is just, move in, show the gratitude for the process, for the ceremony, move in with the intention. And there's 4 rounds of increasing heat and steam in the process. And I remember very clearly by the second or third round, where it was pretty hot at that point. Again, the intention is to call on the spirits of, your great mothers before you. So in this case, I guess you would call them the shaman. Says, call upon your grandmothers, right? Abuelitas in Spanish. I'm pretty sure that's what abuelita means. Pretty sure it's grandmother. And ask them, ask for the love, ask for the healing. And yeah, I did that, and I had to visualize my grandmothers, who I'd call Lola on my mum's side. And then I never really spoke to my grandmother on my dad's side because she died when I was, I think, 7 or 8. I met her, but she was being treated for bowel cancer in Australia when I'd met her. So, she was a lovely woman from what I remember. I still remember, the love that emanated from her, right? As a little side note, I want to do a piece of content on this for the sales course, is that, and I'm sure anyone who has ethnic family and that doesn't understand them realizes this, is that, my aunties in particular, when I would go to Pakistan, it's been a very long time since I've done this, but I remember it. I was like 11 years old. It was the last time I've been there. And then I met my grandmother when I was like 6 or 7. But, I can't understand them. They can't understand me. Right? I don't speak Urdu. They speak little to no English. So my dad would translate. But being in the presence of them, you can feel just the emanation of love, of emotion that come from, your relatives and your loved ones in other countries. Right? You don't have to say anything. You can just feel the pure emotion, the love, the connection, the adoration that these, beautiful women had for me as their nephew. A lot of them were my aunties. And you don't have to say anything. You can just sit there and smile and appreciate and feel the connection and feel that moment of, that's the emotional vibe that we talk about, right? Is that the vibe is the tribe. This is that, it's unspoken, but well known. It's just not official. This exteroception, this perception of emotional tone in other people, right? It is real as fucking anything else of our senses. It's just that we haven't been indoctrinated from day one to think about it as a sixth sense. It's real as fuck, right? But it's just not because we didn't put it on a chart in primary school and high school to make it official. But that emotional tone that we sense in other people, that's some real shit, man. It's some real beautiful shit. But yes, sorry to this bit sidetrack there, but the idea behind, to call on my grandmothers, to ask them to call upon their spirits to heal me, because they're both gone now. They've both died. But to, heal this pain and process it and get it out of me. And I can tell you that I felt this pain move through me, right? I felt it release. I had to physically manipulate it out of my chest. I could feel that it would loosen up and open up and go through me. And it feels like even in the heat and, right, I'm processing this trauma in darkness, in heat, in chanting, right? People are chanting all around me. And everyone's chanting. I'm not chanting because I'm so focused on working this fucking hole out of my chest and working this energy and this pain out of me and processing it out. And I had to literally wriggle it out. I could feel it somatically moving through my chest, through my shoulders. And I had to, sometimes you've got to just push it out of you. Sometimes you've got to shiver it out. Sometimes you fucking even breathe it out or burp it out. I've done it so many times where once in a while I'll take some medication, I'll go for a walk or something like that, and then I'll just feel something just come through me, right? I'll feel a little something just sort of just break off inside, and I'll have to just breathe it out, or sort of like, and sometimes you get gas and it's in your stomach and you've sort of got to move your gut around to try and either get it towards you to burp it out or fart it out. It's a lot like that, right? It is you have this energetic pull, these traumas, they're real things. They might not be physically tangible. You can see them in the day, right? But they are definitely sensations in the body that need to be felt and processed and removed out of your system to help you grow. And yeah, I had to process it. I had to just breathe it out, wriggle it out, shake it out of me. And then, in the fourth round, they talk about, in the fourth round of the Sweat Lodge at Temazcal, they say, all right, now call on the Father, right? And the fourth round is really about what are the intentions, or what do you need to call from your great fathers to heal and move forward. And again, not that I was really thinking about it, but a lot of rage, a lot of anger, a lot of resistance to the expectations of my father. I had to process a lot of anger. And, again, everyone's shouting, everyone's chanting. And so it's just a bunch of noise. And again, this rage that just sort of came up from the center of me. I was doing all the things, I was screaming without noise. I was yelling without noise. So I knew that thank fuck it was dark and nobody else could see me. But it was basically just me going no, fuck you. And just screaming fuck you and no. And just mouthing it out. And just feeling this rage course through me. And just, again, come out of the system. Right? And once it was done, it's hard to tell between, if you've ever done any of this sort of work, if you've done any somatic release work, you're exhausted. If you are pushing new PBs within your spiritual self and your energetic self, it does get tiring. Right? And there needs to be an integration period. So after the Temazcal was done, we were going through the ceremony, and there was this part where you sort of ground and you go dip into this pool to refresh and cleanse yourself and get rid of the sweat and the toxins. Excuse me. There is this cleansing and this rebirth, and you do feel pretty tired after it. But I can't tell if it's because I've just released all of this shit that's been in my system for ages, or it's just the heat and it's still a challenging physical work irrespective of the spiritual and mental work that you're doing in there anyway. So I was pretty exhausted by that. But I guess, the great thing is that over the last few days since then, it's been over a week now, just over a week. I've had that spot in my chest has largely gone. It's largely healed. And, one of the ways that I can sense that is because you just have a lot less anxiety in general. I have a lot less of anxiety. I don't really feel that yearning pull for connection as much. I was pretty chill on my last day or two after that processing. There was this beautiful moment that I had on my last day there. I went to a nightclub and I didn't know anyone. I just went to one of the nights. I just went to see what the party scene was like, and I went there on my own, and I was, dressed, and it was for me, right? I was going out for me to just enjoy myself. And look, there were gorgeous women everywhere. and they looked lovely. But I just, you know, I've come to realize that that anxiety is a leakiness of my own energy. And if I keep yearning, that, you know, that leakiness of energy is the opposite of what I should be doing as a man, where I should be grounded and present and sort of keeping my energy enclosed and grounded within myself, because that leakiness sort of creates a neediness, right? But to go to a nightclub by myself, not feel awkward, feel at peace, you know, just doing my own thing in a room full of strangers, it's, you know, it's nice. It was a nice feeling to not feel like I needed anyone or needed to be with anyone. And that's a sort of a feeling that I've sort of carried over the last few days as well, as this tremendous sense of calm. And I don't know what to do with it, really. And I guess and some of the other things it's done is, like, I haven't wanted to smoke weed since I've been back. I did on like Saturday and Sunday, but just like a tiny bit, because I was like, it's the weekend, I'm bored and I'm chilling. But I didn't really need it. In fact, when I smoked the first time when I got back, I was like, this really isn't for me, right? So it's definitely a habit that I think, again, with this wound that's healed, the urge, or not the, yeah, I guess it is a bit of an urge, or, you know, the feeling like I need to smoke is pretty much gone, which is interesting. And I think it's a habit that I'm going to maintain. It's a habit that I'm going to maintain now, is that I'm just going to not smoke during the week anymore, I think. Like, I'm not going to guilt myself if I do, but I'm going to try and just maintain this habit of not needing to or not feeling compelled to. And it's very strange, because now I'm like, what do I do with this extra time? Like, although to be fair, like, it's not really a good indicator of the last few days, because I've been falling asleep at like 7:30 because of the jet lag kicking my ass, and I've been getting up at like 4 a.m., which has been brutal. But yeah, this is the habit of smoking, and to being like, it's like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I should probably light up or, use my vape, is still there, but it's like a ghost, right? The habit is probably circulating in my brain, but the actual core desire to is like, nah, just let it be, man. Just chill the fuck out. Because I did notice, I didn't really smoke much whilst I was in Tulum. Dreams are much wilder, dude. Holy shit. Like, I'm dreaming like a motherfucker when I'm not smoking. And I knew that was going to be the case. And I know that when you do take some time off it, that does happen. But it's crazy, dude. Like, my dreams are so vivid. And to a point where, like, I'm getting, like, not terrors, but, like, in the dreams, if I had this, I'm remembering sad moments, or sad moments will happen. Like, I'll physically I'll wake up in sadness, and I'll wake up caught up in those emotions. And I don't know if that's just a side effect of, again, transitioning back to normal REM sleep or not, but it's certainly weird, certainly strange. But yeah, man, like, and also in the last few days, it could be that I've been tired and a little bit sick, so I haven't really cared, but there is this significant amount of, I guess it's indifference or equanimity, but I'm just like, I'm just okay, just in plain nothingness. Which is, I think, a good thing. I'm just not used to it. I think it's probably a degree of equanimity. Like, so I guess to round this off is like, even with, again, the upcoming launch, I'm a bit excited, but not really. I just feel so neutral. I'm just like, like I am excited. I'm keen to make sure that I make money and launch this thing that I've worked so hard on and finally get it out into the world. But there's just no anxiety of like, I should be doing more, more or less. It's just like, this is just it now, man. Like, okay, just do the thing. There isn't this perpetual, drive, or maybe, and that's maybe, again, a side effect or part of the wound that's been healed. Because I can tell you now that hole in my chest and that sensation has been largely gone. It feels like I've got stitches in there to a degree. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel a light feeling like it might be just the remnants of something that's in there. Or, when sometimes you squeeze a pimple and you think you've gotten pretty much everything out, but there's probably like a little bit of pus in the bottom somewhere. It's sort of like that feeling, So yeah, I guess it's interesting to feel that and just be so ambivalent the last few days, even with such a milestone moment for me coming up in 48 hours or whatever it is, that I just feel balanced, and I just feel like, okay. Just nothing. Not bad, but not great. Just like, all right, cool. Very strange. Very strange. And that's what's interesting is like, I don't know what if that, with preparing for this course, I mean, it's like, honestly, man, like I can't have done anything else to prep for this, right? And maybe that's what that is. It's just like I've done so fucking much to get to this point. I have worked my ass off. I've put something out that I'm proud of. I'm doing shit that nobody else would fucking dare to do, right? Like I've really put myself out there into the world, and it's just a matter of, okay, let's see what the harvest is for all this effort. I think there's just like, I can't have done any more, so let's just see what comes of it. And at the very least, man, like I know that at the very least I will keep surviving, right? Is that, to be straight up, I've got 1 month left of cash right now. So it's very well timed that this launch is in May, because by the end of May, I would have officially run out of cash. So I'm sure I will make enough money at the very least to keep me going for another couple of months. I'm sure of that. I am aiming for 200 course sales as part of my launch in the first month. Honestly, I don't know if that's realistic or not. I really don't know. But to do some quick math with you guys, top 1% in the world. If I get 1% of Cisco's direct sales force, I am hyper targeting this at Cisco for the time being because that's where my clout is. If I get 1% of their sales force, that's 200 courses sold, all right? Because they've got 20,000 sellers worldwide. Probably a few less now given the redundancies, right? But let's just call it that. 200 course sales is about $140,000 in revenue US. If I can get that in my first month, I am fucking schmick, baby, because that will technically cover me, cover my costs for close to 12 months. But I have to consider things like tax and stuff. I haven't really figured all the finances, the back end of how does all that revenue convert down into profit and, me eating day to day. I haven't figured that out. That's what I've got a bookkeeper for. And look, at the very least, if I sell 30K worth of stuff, how many courses is that? Like, once I sell, I still maintain, sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out now. I still maintain that if I sell one course a day, I'm free, right? Let's just do some quick math. $6.99 for the course times 30 courses in a month. That's $20,970 top line revenue, US, mind you, US. So you can almost add, that's almost $30,000 in revenue per month by selling one course a day. That is, right, if I times this 20K, right, 21 times that by 12 months, that's $251,000 per annum US in revenue. That is way more than I had made in my top 1% year. Because that's 250K US. Add 40% on top of that, 250 times 1.4, roughly. That's $350,000 Australian. And that would be taxed. Yeah, so that was that. Even at 350K, that is more money than I made in my top 1% year at Cisco. So I'm fucking laughing, right? So if I sell one course a day, even if this fucking flopped and I sold 20 courses in the first month, that's $14,000 US. I'm good for another month, right? I don't think I'll just sell 20 courses in 1 month. That'd be insane. I'd have to be missing something off the mark completely because I've sold 10 courses in this pre-launch phase. So to only sell, 20 in 1 month would be fucking ridiculous, I would think. But, for me, the true win is in just maintaining my freedom and being able to do something and create something and work, put something out into the world that's uniquely mine that I believe in, have people resonate with it, learn from it, grow from it. I'm already seeing a lot of green shoots from my students that did the cohort. They're telling me they're getting results and I'm fucking ecstatic, right? I'm fucking ecstatic about that, the wins. But of course, I would love a bit of cash, right? And, to monetize and just get something back for all the work that I've put in over the last 6+ months. It's been an intense 6 months, man, looking back. Holy shit. So if I were to get 200 course sales, I would be over the fucking moon because that's 100K. I'm safe. I'm not going to be lavish or anything like that. My lifestyle won't change. It just becomes, I'm secure enough to now play the game of how do I make this the best fucking thing possible, right? So that's where I'm at, is that, the launch is there. I've got a heap of strategies and tactics. Let me run you through some of them now. So, of course, finally the website is done. It's 100% done. I tested it this morning. So if you go to techsales.academy right now, you can check it out. It looks pretty fucking good. You can see what's in the course. You can, just check it out. It's fucking nice. I've got the vlog. So what I'll be doing is that the vlog will be the top of funnel for my sales course. So I'll just be pushing everyone to the vlog first. It's not about, hey, buy my course. It's, hey, do you want to see the perks of what it looks like to be in the top 1% at Cisco? Well, here's this neat little vlog that I've done with a great story with me and my mother and me going viral on TikTok, all weaved into a great narrative. Check it the fuck out. And from there, that goes into the website, right? I show you the perks and then my website is there. Here's the system that gets you to the top 1%, right? And then what else have I got going? Basically, I'm calling in every single favor that I've got from friends and colleagues to, hey, just share the content. I just want reach, right? I have to just focus on reach and getting people at the top of funnel, getting them aware of who I am, getting new followers as a result. I'll nurture them through the social media. They'll probably sign up for my newsletter, all that sort of good stuff, right? So going through all my DMs on LinkedIn, contacting all of my friends and my cohort buddies. I've got content coming out I've tagged Chuck Robbins in the content. I've got a couple of pieces of content that feature him, which are pretty fun. I'm looking forward to getting that out into the world. I'm going to be picking up the phone like a good salesperson and get on the fucking blower and calling every one of my contact list, sending them messages. Again, just showing them the vlog. Hey, I've got the sales course out. Really fucking proud of it. Check it out. Check out this vlog and just send them to it. And then I've got LinkedIn, Sales Navigator to find every single virtual seller inside Cisco and every seller inside Cisco, particularly in the US, because this is the most affordable to them. Just DM them and show them the vlog. Hey, you want to see what the perks are of Club Cisco and being in the top 1% of the world? Well, check this shit out, right? I'll contact every fucking sales leader in the US that I can find on LinkedIn and DM them. I do not give a fuck, right? I want this in through the annals of Cisco globally, anywhere and everywhere, right? I will be doing guerrilla style marketing. I will be getting my cohort students and friends that I know that are still working in Cisco to share it inside social groups, inside of WebEx groups, inside Cisco. I need this to be guerrilla marketing, word of mouth, because I am them. There is a degree of relatability of, hey, I'm just like you, and this is the story behind the success, and you could have it too, right? A bunch of my testimonials have come through, which is just going to be evidence. Here is proof that my shit fucking works, because all of you might like it, but you're like, hey, is this going to work for me? Absolutely. Here is 10 testimonials, probably more than 10 testimonials from the students going, this shit is cool, it's useful, it works, right? The proof is in the fucking pudding. I'll be DMing all of the other major creators in the space around the Cisco ecosystem and going, hey, show us some love, give us some help. In my engagement pods inside Founder OS, which is my business cohort, business coaching cohort, get my fucking content out there, share it, love it, engage with it, do it, right? And then, yeah, man, like, just get the fucking word out there. Friends, colleagues, every social media channel that I've got, every group chat that I've got. I've also got an ad. I also made a content clip for TikTok. So for the 13 million people that watch my TikTok, I'm going to be doing a retargeting ad. So I've got a piece of content, and basically what you can do in the back end is go, hey, if people target the people who watch this piece of content and send it directly to them, right? And what that does, so they go, I've got this piece of content that goes, hey, remember me? I'm this guy. And I show a bit of the content, and then I've got it says, this video changed my life, and do you want to know why I was recording in the first place? Well, check this shit out. And it's got highlights of the trip, and that points them to the YouTube channel, right? So that won't necessarily get me sales, but it will get me good traffic that will, again, pump the numbers up of the course, of the video, right? Because eventually that Tech Sales Academy YouTube will monetize through educational content and get more subscribers and whatnot as well. So, man, it's like, what else can I be fucking doing to get this shit off the ground, right? Every channel, every piece of work, putting out a vlog that no one has ever done before. Just leveraging every nook and cranny. I will make every phone call. I will put every ounce of energy that made me a top 1% tech seller and do it again for my own business, because it's all mine, baby. It's all fucking mine. So it's like, I think that sense of calm comes from the growth of this business, the success of this business is entirely within my own control. And it's really up to me and my efforts and my capabilities to get the fuck out there and promote this course and, put every effort that made me great at sales into my own thing. And I think there is a degree of, peace and equanimity that it's really up to me and my efforts to get that done. And I will fucking do it, man. Don't you fucking doubt that I will do it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks, ladies and gentlemen. I can certainly say that the trip to Tulum was a success. I feel like I am transitioning into this new life, this new identity, this new chapter. It starts Wednesday 1st, man. It starts Wednesday 1st. I get to step into my new life as a leader, as a mentor, and finally put all this work out into the world. It's fucking exciting, man. It's fucking good shit. Can't wait. And to the dear listeners of this podcast, thank you for being here, for the ups and downs, for being a part of it. This little corner of the internet, this podcast is me just getting my thoughts and my feelings out earnestly into the world. And, thank you for being a part of this journey. It's been wonderful to talk to you guys and be able to share this with you. And hopefully in a week, we will see some amazing results, and I'll be able to rejoice with you and celebrate with you guys. Maybe it's a few weeks, who knows? But like I said last week, I've already won, man. I've already won. The fact that I'm here and gotten to this point is the fucking win, right? Because now it's entirely up to me how I make this work. And it's a beautiful new chapter that I'm very excited by, and very happy that you guys are a part of it. So please, techsales.academy website, finally done. I've been saying that for fucking months now, but it's done. Go check it out. What else can I do? If you go to Tech Sales Academy look up Tech Sales Academy on YouTube. The name of the YouTube video is called Inside Club Cisco. Hang on, let me fucking get this right for you, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, where is that? Where is it? Yeah, Inside Club Cisco, the ultimate experience for top 1% tech sellers. And you'll see a photo of me and Chuck, the CEO of Cisco. Right, go check that out on YouTube. Little sneak peek for you guys, dedicated listeners of the pod right now. Please do me a favor. If you do check it out, share it with your friends and family. It's a fucking good vlog. It's a great story. I showed it to my family over the weekend. They loved it. There's something unique and interesting. Yeah, man, it's time. It's time to step into this shit. But please, again, yes, share it with the people. Maybe I should put a plug down here on the socials. Check it out. And as always, thank you for your time and attention, bingers. Love yous all. See you next week for hopefully a bit of glory. Ciao for now.